clip of me about my opinion about this job. I think if you're a new driver, it might be, it might be a lot. You're overwhelmed, you don't know about, what to expect, but eventually you're really just gonna, get better, hopefully, and get used to the work. But once you do get used to this job, like I am currently, I feel like the job is really, really simple, as long as you have really good strategies about organizing, how you approach every driveways, how you plan your day before you leave the station, and how you organize. You need to be able to organize and find the packages that you need right then and there. If you are taking like 10 seconds or longer to find your packages, that sucks. You don't want that. Some people take forever. You don't really want that. You want to be able to find them within 3 seconds, give or take. Sometimes it's a little longer depending on situations, but for the most part, you should be averaging like 3 to 5 seconds finding it. You'll see a footage of me, I'll upload it, and you'll see me in real time. Well, it won't be real time by then, but basically you'll see the right, I won't speed it up. You'll see my pacing, and you'll see how fast I find the package. In and out, in and out. And if you are really good, and if you are in the area, you can easily get 30 plus stops per hour. But if you become really, really good at this job, like excellent, there should be no problem hitting 40 stops an hour. And that's kind of like an insane category once you get there. It's really nice. It also depends on your route. If you have a route that's spread out, you're never gonna make that 40 stops an hour. But if you have the route that's like relatively close to each other, then you can pump your numbers. Break records if you need to. That's what I like to do. But yeah, other than that, I think the job is super simple. Don't make it complicated. Do not make any crazy fancy strategies. Like one of the strategies that I've seen from other people, even some YouTubers and some people that I've trained in general, they like to sort their packages using streets, using the street numbers, or just the street names rather. And to me, that is, rough, pretty bad. Don't get me wrong, if it works for you, it works for you. But if the organization part of your day is slower, then it's gonna add up, because who knows, you could get like 15 or more totes. And imagine if you have to do totes, each tote takes 5 minutes to 7 minutes, because you're trying to be fancy with streets, then that kind of adds up. Can you imagine, let's say, just for the sake of argument, you do 5 minutes per tote, like organizing them, and because you're trying to, that's insane. Like, that's ridiculous. 5 minutes is a lot, but I'm just putting it that way, assuming everything you're gonna get is like really, really heavy during the peak season. So 5 minutes like organizing each tote is just too much. It's just ridiculous. And if you get like 20 of those, on a peak season, that's 20 times 5. That's easily 100 minutes that you're going to waste just sorting it. Meanwhile, when you're driving one of these vans, like the EDVs, and if you're, doing some strategies like what I do, I average around 2 minutes, sometimes even less if it's really big. And if it's really not much in it, it takes me like 30 seconds to organize. Remove them from the remove them from the bag, and then organize them at the same time. So if I'm doing 30 seconds to a minute, max 2 minutes, and other crazy about organizing. Just keep it simple. Use the driver aid, and hopefully if you watch one of my videos about my organization, maybe you can pick up some of those tips. I try to simplify it as much as I can. I have this thing called rule of twos. I only ever look at the last two digits of everything. For example, houses. I only look at the last two digits of houses. That means, if there's a house number, for example, 1462, I'll only look at the last two digits. I'll just call it 62, because in that street, most likely, they're all going to be 14 something. So the only thing that really matters is the last two digits. So I make it a lot easier in my head, so that way there's less calculations and less memorizations in my head. It makes it less stressful. And the same thing with finding your packages. Most of the time you'll get a 3-digit, or if not, in some rare occasions you might get a 4-digit driver aid number. So for the most part, if it's not an overflow, I'll only look at the last two digits instead of spelling out all the numbers. It doesn't make sense. If you're in the 320s, I just call it 20s. All of your numbers in that totes will always be either 300 or 200. It goes down, and if it goes down, it's somewhere around 90, 92. If it's 392, I just call it 92. The same concept as the address. I make it so much easier. So if I do that, and then I organize my stuff properly, everything else is so much easier. So this job becomes so much easier. So don't be too complicated about it. Just make it easy, and go ahead and watch the video about me organizing, and I explained it to you, how to do the organization so much simpler and faster at the same time. That way you don't beat yourself up, because this job can be really difficult if you don't know how to organize. And finding your packages quicker makes your life so much easier. And then now you just gotta focus about driving properly and driving safely. And that's it. That's basically what I think about this job. It's just pretty simple. Just organizing, driving well. If you have a really good judgment in this job, it makes everything so much easier. So don't be a dumbass and just get in an accident because you did a poor decision of getting into a driveway. It doesn't make sense. If you don't have to get into driveway, don't get into driveway. If it's not safe, and if it takes you forever to get into the driveway, don't get in. Just get out and just walk. And if the driveway is long, and if it takes you forever to walk, then go ahead and pull into the driveway, reverse into the driveway, but go very slow. That way you don't damage any vehicles, because Amazon and the DSP really don't want us to reverse. But if you need to reverse, you gotta do what you gotta do. Just do it safely. And yeah, if you're good at driving and if you're really good at reversing, this job makes it so much easier. So, and if you're driving the EDVs, you have cameras, 360 cameras. So I don't see how this job can become difficult for some people. So at the same time, people need to have really good work ethics, or else you're not gonna make it, because you're gonna end up getting rescued. You're gonna hate the job. Everybody's gonna not like you because you're a pain in the butt. You're getting rescued. Eventually you're just gonna get fired. It is what it is. It sucks. It sucks for you, sucks for everybody. So do yourself a favor and do us a favor. Don't get rescued at all. The job is super simple. Just get better at it, and if you ever need some more help, let me know. If you work for Quickfire, I'll be happy to give you tips, and I'll be happy to give you, pretty much whatever you need to do. I can even retrain you if you need to. I'll show you how the way I do it. That way you get a first-hand experience about how I do it, how I pull the the big numbers. You don't necessarily have to go for the big numbers, but if you like numbers like I do, then I'll show you how I do it. That's simple as that. And yeah, if you just if you're just a good driver, you're just a good employee, you're pretty much gonna love this job. It's pretty easy. It's pretty chill. You get to listen to music all day. You get to see houses that are nice, mansions and shit like that. It's pretty nice. And you get to see some dogs that are lovely. Some of them can be really vicious. You just gotta, watch out. But other than that, the job is super relaxing. I really thought this job is pretty therapeutic, because I get to exercise, I get to get some fresh air, and at the same time I get paid. It's wonderful. But if you're bad at it, you're gonna hate this job. You're gonna think like this job sucks. We're so lucky that we we drive for Quickfire. For the most part, I would say at least 90% of the routes for Quickfire are pretty good, compared to other stations when they have when they have to deliver to like the big cities, or like even if it's a small city but crowded, it sucks. At least Quickfire delivers in Westchester County, and it's really, really nice. You don't have a lot of there's not a lot of people to deal with, and there's not a lot of traffic. Don't get me wrong, there's some areas with traffic, you gotta deal with it, but if you're smart enough, sometimes you might not even have to deal with traffic. But when there's traffic, it sucks. Nothing you can do about it. You just gotta suck it up. But that's just one thing you cannot control for the most part. But if you're savvy enough, you can always try to find ways to get around it. But yes, other than that, the job is pretty simple. Just be good at driving, have really good decision making skills, and you're gonna be okay. And yeah, that's about it.